But that is enough Cubs talk for this week.
Jesus.
I'm surprised you hung in there this long. How
Well,
are you doing over there?
I'm doing okay. There's fun. Luckily, I've been drinking delicious anti-hero from
Nice.
Revolution Brewing, the sponsor of this podcast.
Thank you, Revolution.
Am I allowed to talk about some White Sox stuff? Go to the other side of town?
I think we should finally
All
go.
right, folks.
You've been good. I appreciate your patience. Let's get to the Southside.
We're hopping on the red line and cutting across town right now, and I'm going to talk about. Now this is almost a deja vu conversation, folks. This is going to be a little deja vu because I believe last year what we heard at the beginning of the season was the White Sox had arguably the best bullpen in baseball. Now that's not exactly how things shook out throughout the season.
On paper, it seemed like it.
Well,
on the field, not so much.
The paper is talking again, folks. Because let me just line it up for you. You got the recent signing of Joe Kelly. Then you had the Kendall Graveman signing. Then you've got Hendricks and you've got Kimbrel in either order. I don't know. I say put Kimbrel at the end so he's more valuable down the stretch.
At least try it. My God, how much could it hurt to try?
And let's not forget, we got Garrett Crochet, who got kind of tired towards the end of the season in his first, full season in baseball.
True.
But was very, very potent in the first 2/3 of the season. And then Aaron Bummer, who had the exact opposite effect. He was terrible the first 2/3, but the last third was lights out. Like the bullpen is in great shape. I would not mind. I hate to sound greedy, but Ryan Tepera is still out there. He is not signed yet. I would not mind seeing that either.
That'd be nice.
So
Cubs might be going back after him, though.
I mean, Joe Kelly brings some sass.
Brilliant signing. Perfect signing for you guys. He fits right into your curmudgeonly bullpen. A bunch of angry guys.
He fits in with our Lance Lynn as a starter.
Yes. It's perfect. The whole scenario with the Astros where he's got the famous pouty face.
Yes, and do you know? I'm sure you know the full story. I just want to share it really quickly.
Yeah, let's go over that again.
Let's just go. So you may have seen it. It broke on Twitter even before the great graphic artist that is my partner on this podcast with me, Smitty, could not even get to it in time to do the Joe Kelly White Sox.
Great
graphic. They were all over Twitter, but
better than I could do, by the way.
He made a pouty face to Carlos Correa after he had gotten him out, and there was some like throw. There was some inside
throw behind somebody.
Joe Kelly basically took care of the Dodgers' sentiment towards Houston coming in and pitching, but basically the Cliff Notes version is when Carlos was chirping back at me, I gave him the boo-hoo face because I felt right because it sounded like he was complaining. So I was like, oh, boo-hoo. For me, it sounded like a bunch of whining. So now I know exactly what my wife feels like because he had commented that he did it because his wife, whenever he's sick, he complains a lot. When he doesn't feel well, he complains a lot. And she gives him the pouty face. Boo-hoo. So he turned it back on Carlos Correa. He didn't like it, but
he just fits perfectly. It's a perfect fit. You guys build your team around your bullpen. I think it's a good strategy. You're going to have Kopech in the starting rotation, so you had a position to fill potentially. I don't think necessarily Craig Kimbrel is going to be there for long, even though I think he probably should be until the trade deadline, at least, if he doesn't pan out.
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant move. He fits personality-wise. I don't even think it's all that much money. I don't remember the final details on it, but perfect White Sox signing. I thought it made perfect sense on everything.
I think it was like 2-year, 22, like $11 million a year or something like that. Sounds like a good deal to me.
Yeah. Reinsdorf's got the money. Don't let him tell you he doesn't.
In more underwhelming news, but some things that, one makes sense. The other one is just underwhelming. So the Sox signed Velasquez, who people may or may not remember, who debuted like a gangbuster with the Phillies, had a complete game 16 strikeout performance, and then kind of faded off into the night, had an injury. I think this signing is basically to bridge the gap at the start of the season. Kopech, he's actually sick right now. I don't know what it is. Baseball likes to be mysterious about
That's bad
illnesses.
timing considering how short spring training
Yeah,
is. That's
I think
tough.
I think that's the bridge for having Kopech ramped up, and
Okay.
maybe versus like kind of the reverse psychology of what happened with Rodon. Not that Kopech's going to be injured, but it's going to be his first full season as a starter. He's probably only going to be somewhere between 130 and 150 innings. And I feel like their philosophy, and this is just me spitballing here, is you've got a few days off at the beginning of the season there where they won't probably have to use a fifth starter as much, but you'll have Velasquez there while Kopech ramps up, and maybe they even do a 6-man rotation a little bit at the beginning of the season, and then you've got Kopech good down the stretch so he can compete in the playoffs and stuff like that.
I think you're going to see most teams do a 6-man rotation to start out with, just because of the compressed spring training. I think pitchers like to have 6 weeks to ramp up. I think they're going to have to. I think every team is going to have to do that. So I think
Yeah,
I think that makes a lot of sense, especially for your situation.
yeah, and I don't think they've officially announced it yet, but word is out there that there's going to be expanded rosters probably for the first month or
I think
so.
they have to. Yeah, I think that's a no brainer.
So that is
I haven't
good
heard if it's
news.
going to be 30 players or how
Yeah,
much.
I don't know what it's going to be either. I haven't heard.
Right.
Word Hole Media.